A hushed whisper echoed in the grand, empty halls of the Celestial Observatory. Not all stars guide. Some mislead. Alara, a brilliant but overlooked astronomer, heard these words in a dream. Spoken by her grandmother, a woman who charted stars not with telescopes, but with instinct. For years, Alara had chased validation in the rigid world of science, her theories on undiscovered celestial bodies dismissed as fanciful. Her desk was a graveyard of rejected papers, each one a testament to her struggle against the academic establishment, particularly against Dr. Reese Thorne, her former mentor and now her fiercest critic. One rain-slicked night, poring over ancient star charts her grandmother had left her, Alara found it, a constellation uncharted by modern astronomy, with a cryptic note, Ophiuchus. The serpent-bearer sleeps when he wakes. The world will shift on its axis, fortune follows his gaze, the symbol was unmistakable, the 13th. Zodiac sign long relegated to myth. According to her grandmother's complex calculations, Ophiuchus was set to awaken in 2026, its gravitational pull subtly altering cosmic radiation patterns. A wild theory sparked in her mind. Could this forgotten constellation influence more than just tides and orbits? What if it affected the very fabric of probability? A long shot, but it was all she had. She spent months locked away, feeding her grandmother's data and her own astronomical observations into a predictive algorithm. The results were staggering. The model predicted a massive disruption in global financial markets. A chaotic storm where traditional investments would fail, but a handful of obscure tech startups, aligned with the constellation's path, would skyrocket. Her heart pounded. This wasn't just a theory, it was a treasure map. But sharing it meant facing Thorne and the council again. It meant ridicule. So she made a choice. She would prove them wrong, not with papers but with profits. Taking her meager life savings, a small inheritance from her grandmother, she began investing. Tiny amounts spread across the fledgling companies her algorithm flagged. Her friends were worried. Alara, this is madness. You're betting your future on astrology. But Alara saw what they couldn't, the faint, celestial glow of Ophiuchus, promising a fortune. As 2025 bled into 2026, the markets began to twitch. Unpredictable dips and surges baffled Wall Street experts, famous analysts appeared on news channels, their faces grim, unable to explain the chaos. But Alara watched her portfolio, not with anxiety, but with a serene confidence. One of her picks, a small company specializing in bioresonant data storage, quadrupled in value overnight. Then another and another. Her initial investment of a few $1,000s began to swell. First into tens of thousands, then hundreds, and soon it crested the $1 million mark. She was rich, fantastically rich. But the victory felt hollow. The money was a secret, a silent testament to a truth no one else would acknowledge. The observatory, her true home, still saw her as a failure. Meanwhile, Dr. Thorne was publicly denouncing the market volatility, blaming it on rogue AI traders and calling for stricter regulations. He was building his reputation on a foundation of lies while she sat on the truth. One evening, staring at her bank account, the numbers blurring into meaningless digits, her grandmother's words returned. Not all stars guide. Some mislead. Was the money the guide? Or the misdirection? She finally understood. The fortune wasn't the goal. It was the key to being heard. The day of the annual astronomy symposium arrived. Dr. Thorne was the keynote speaker, set to present his definitive explanation for the market chaos. As he took the stage, basking in the applause, Alara quietly walked to the back of the auditorium and cut the power to his presentation. The screens went black, a collective gasp filled the room. Before security could react, Alara projected her own data onto the main screen: the ancient star charts, the gravitational wave models, the awakening of Ophiuchus, and finally, a real-time feed of her own investment portfolio. Displaying a balance of over $97 million, a stunned silence fell over the hall. She began to speak, her voice clear and steady. For 2 years, you have been looking for answers in algorithms and regulations. You've been looking at the wrong charts. She pointed to the screen. The answer wasn't on the stock market. It was in the stars, written in a language science had forgotten, but our ancestors knew by heart. She exposed how Thorne had not only dismissed her early research, but had access to her grandmother's initial findings years ago and had buried them, fearing they would discredit his own work. The fortune she had amassed wasn't from luck or a gamble. It was the result of a predictable, celestial event. The 13th sign, Ophiuchus, wasn't a bringer of luck for a select few. It was a catalyst, a cosmic disruptor that rewarded those who dared to look beyond the accepted reality. Her wealth wasn't a personal jackpot, it was the irrefutable proof, the evidence. In the aftermath, Thorne was disgraced. The scientific community, faced with undeniable proof, was forced to re-evaluate centuries of astronomical dogma. They began studying the 13th constellation, not as myth, but as a scientific reality. Alara, now at the head of a new celestial research division funded entirely by her own earnings, looked up at the night sky from the observatory's main telescope. She wasn't just a millionaire. She was a pioneer. She had proven that the greatest discoveries and the greatest fortunes lie not in what we know, but in what we are willing to believe. The stars hadn't just made her rich. They had given her a voice loud enough to change the world, and as she gazed at the serpent bearer, she knew her grandmother was smiling. What do you think? Did Alara make the right choice by using money to prove her point? Let me know in the comments below. And for more stories that challenge the reality we think we know, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.